So this is the topic of our discussion today, immunogenetics and stem cells. So this immunogenetics is basically a subdiscipline of genetics which deals with the genetic basis of the immune response. So this is clear from the name immunogenetics itself, that contains two different portions, immunology and genetics. Okay, the immunology, it deals with the biological as well as biochemical basis for the body's defense against germs such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, as well as against foreign agents such as biological toxins and environmental pollutants, and the failure and the malfunction of these defense mechanisms that will result in diseased conditions. So this is basically the immunology portion, and the other section in the immunogenetics is the genetics. This is basically the study of a special branch of science which deals with the transfer of characteristics from one generation to the next. The genes of an organism, the DNA and the transfer of the genes from the parent to its offspring of an organism, this is the scope of possible variations are the, this is the basically the core of genetics. So basically from here we can say that immunogenetics is the study of mechanisms of autoimmune diseases, tolerance in organ transplantation, and obviously immunity to infectious diseases, with a special emphasis on the role of genetic makeup of an organism in these processes. And the immune system evolved essentially to protect vertebrates from potentially harmful infectious agents I have mentioned, such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and various eukaryotic parasites. So this is we can say that this is a very well growing area of research in modern science and technology that will help us, that actually influence a variety of different biomedical disciplines, and also playing an increasingly important role in the study of treatment of many human diseases such as say cancer, and I have told about autoimmune diseases, etc. So this is basically the basic or the main theme of immunogenetics. That is, what is immunogenetics? This is a very emerging topic of medical science basically. So I guess you all know the basics of immunology. There are two broad types of immune systems: the innate immune system of defense that depends on the invariant receptors that recognize common features of pathogens, but they are not varied enough to recognize all types of pathogens, or specific enough to act effectively against reinfection by the same pathogen. Although this is effective, this system lacks both specificity and the ability to acquire better receptor to deal with the same infectious challenges in the future. This particular phenomenon is known as the immunological memory. Now these two properties, the specificity as well as the immunological memory, are the main characteristics of the second wing of immune system, which is known as the specific or adaptive immune system. This is based on antigen specific receptors. Besides these two families of different receptors that help in immune recognition of foreign infectious agents, both the innate and the adaptive immune system rely on soluble mediators like different cytokines, chemokines, which will allow the different cells involved in an immune response to communicate with each other. This is the basic concept of immunology that we have learned earlier about the adaptive and the immune system. And the major focus of immunogeneticists is the identification, characterization and sequencing of the genes encoding for the multiple receptors and mediators of immune responses. So here comes the immunogenetics. Now it was found historically that the launch of immunogenetics could be traced back to the demonstration of Mendelian inheritance of the human during that ABO blood group, and it started in 1910. The importance of this group of molecules is still highlighted by their importance in blood transfusion and organ transplantation protocol. Now, major developments that contributed to the emergence of this immunogenetics as an independent discipline of immunology were the rediscovery of allograft reaction during the Second World War and the formulation of an immunological theory of allograft reaction, as well as the formulation of the clonal selection hypothesis by Burnett in 1959. So, this is basically the short history from where the immunogenetics emerged, and the theory of Burnett proposed that says that clones of immunocompetent cells with unique receptors exist prior to exposure to antigen, and only cells with specific receptors, they are selected by antigen for subsequent activation. Now, the molecular understanding of how the diverse repertoire of these receptors is generated came with the discovery of somatic recombination of receptor genes, which is the paradigm for studying gene rearrangement during cell maturation. So, this actually will give us the idea, the understandings of the genetic system that encode molecules, that those are having integral roles in immune regulation, as well as assess the impact of different allelic variations, polymorphisms in certain genes that are responsible for immunological defense. Now, say if we want to know about such kind of gene polymorphism, the most important influence was found in case of major histocompatibility complex MHC molecules or human leukocyte antigens in HLA. So, if you see, this picture basically describes the chromosome 6 of human that is showing different classes of HLA locus, HLA classes and the locus, and these are different class 1 and class 2 molecules. Now, the most important influence on the development of immunogenetics is, however, the studies of a gene family. Now, the question comes, what is gene family? So, gene family is a group of similar or identical gene, usually along the same chromosome, that originate by gene duplication of a single original gene. Some members of the family may work in concert, others may be silenced and become pseudogenes. For example, say each of the alpha and beta hemoglobin families of humans include members that duplicate each other's functions, act at different stages of life cycle, or may have lost their functions altogether. So, this is basically the gene family. Now, in case of immunogenetics, the studies of a gene family known as the MHC, major histocompatibility complex. Now, these highly polymorphic genes first studied as white cell antigens of the blood and therefore named as human leukocyte antigens or HLA, influence both donor choice in organ transplantation and the susceptibility of an organism to chronic disease. The MHC is also linked with with almost all of the important autoimmune diseases such as, say, rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, etc. Now, the discovery in 1972 that these MHC molecules are intimately associated with the specific immune responses to viruses led to an explosion in immunogenetic studies of this molecule, and this has led to the construction of very detailed genetic as well as physical maps of this complex, and ultimately to its complete sequence in an early stage of the human genome sequencing project. So this is the I have told you that the genetic polymorphism to assess the immunogenetics actually help us to assess the genetic polymorphism of special kind of genes that are responsible for this immunological for our defense system. So one is this MHC molecules, and another is, others are also important, like there are different segments that contains the B cell immunoglobulins, T cell receptors. These are also shows different patterns, genetic variations, and hence depending on their variations or genetic variations, they show different kinds of immune response in different organism, different individual. So we can say that one of the most important application of this immunogenetics in clinical medicine is the HLA typing in order to help match organ donor and recipients during transplantation surgery. Now transplantation, you know, this is a procedure in which an organ or tissues that is damaged and is no longer functioning is replaced with one obtained from another person. Now because HLA antigens can be recognized as foreign by another person's immune system, surgeons and physicians try to match as many of the HLA antigens as possible between the donated organ and the recipient. In order to do this, the HLA type of every potential organ recipient is determined. Now when a recipient, the potential organ donor becomes available, the donor's HLA type as determined as well to make absolutely sure that the donor organ is suitable for the recipient. So this is the practical use of this immunogenetics. Now many of the gene variations or variants associated with risk in one autoimmune disease have been shown to have an association with the development of other autoimmune diseases also. So this shared association and the observation that multiple autoimmune diseases track in the same patients and same families has led to the model of a cluster of gene variants that decrease immunological tolerance. So a large number of genes fall into the category of general autoimmune risk variants. So this is the picture showing you the immune response, which is the normal one in case of a healthy human, and the lower portion shows you the human body having autoimmune diseases. So this cannot fight against others because it actually have problems with its own immune system. So the development of most autoimmune diseases includes a strong heritable component, and this genetic contribution to disease ranges from simple Mendelian inheritance of causative alleles to the complex inheritance of multiple weak loci influencing risk. Now the genetic variants responsible for diseases are being discovered through a range of strategies, from linkage studies to genome-wide association studies, and despite the rapid advances in genetic analysis, substantial components of the heritable risk remain unexplained, either owing to the contribution of an as yet unidentified hidden component of risk or through the underappreciated effects of known risk loci. Surprisingly, despite the variation in genetic control, a great deal of conservation appears in the biological processes influenced by risk alleles, with several key immunological pathways being modified in autoimmune diseases, covering a broad spectrum of clinical manifestation. So the primary translational potential of this knowledge is in the rational designing of new therapeutics to exploit the role of these key pathways in influencing diseases, with significant further advances in understanding the genetic risk factors and their biological mechanisms. The possibility of genetically tailored therapy, or say personalized medicines, that can be done. So this is basically the use and the scope of immunogenetics. So immunogenetics, as I have discussed, that immunogenetics basically the mixture of immunology as well as genetics. You know, the genetics covers multiple areas. This is the basic science, the genetics portion, and when we actually combine the genetics with immunology, that will have immense effect on especially medical sciences. It will open new window on the therapeutics, medicines against different autoimmune diseases and all. So from this immunogenetics course, we will learn about the basics of immunogenetics, how genetics actually influencing, what is the main or the core of genetics, and how the genetics actually influencing the immunological system, and how the polymorphism, the genetic variations, these all actually affect the immune system, and as well as different autoimmune diseases, which is a very important area of our study, the autoimmune diseases also, how they impact, they have impacts on these diseases and how they can be cured. Now one of the if you want to cure some of the diseases, some immunological defect, there comes the study of the transplantation. If you want to do that, the another kind of transplantation study is there which can be done in order to cure different diseases, is the stem cell transplantation. I guess you have heard about bone marrow transplantation. So this is another emerging topic. So what is stem cells? Stem cells is basically the cell with the unique ability to develop into specialized cell types in the body. In the future, they may be used to replace cells and tissues that have been damaged or lost due to diseases. Now this stem cell provides new cells for the body as it grows and replace specialized cells that are damaged or lost, and they actually have two different properties. One is they can divide over and over again to produce new cells, and another property is as they divide, they can change into the other type of cells that make up the body. So the stem cells have the self renewal property. So stem cell will form another more stem cells, as well as they can differentiate into more specialized cell type to function to help our body system. So now this is the basic of stem cell. This is the property of stem cell and what is actually stem cell. Now the question comes that in the study of immunogenetics, we will first though we will learn about the genetic contribution or genetic effects on immunology, and next we will just want to know that why these stem cells are important, or how they can have some effects on these immunogenetic studies. So the question comes that why these stem cells are so important, because the stem cells represent an exciting area in medicine. Why? Because their potential, they have the potency to regenerate and repair damaged tissues. Some current therapies such as bone marrow transplantation already make use of stem cells and their potential for regeneration of damaged tissues, and other therapies that are under investigation involve transplanting stem cells into a damaged body part and directing them to grow and differentiate into healthy tissues. So this is the importance of stem cells, why we are thinking about these stem cells which can be used in curing different diseases, different defects in our body. So the stem cells can be used to increase the understanding of how diseases occur. It can help us to know the generate healthy cells to replace diseased cells, and also to produce regenerative medicines, because stem cells can be guided into becoming specific cells that can be used to regenerate and repair diseased and damaged tissues in people. So people who might benefit from stem cell therapies include those with, say, spinal cord injury or type 1 diabetes. So stem cells may have the potential to be grown to become new tissues for use in transplant and regenerative medicines, and researchers continue to advance their knowledge on stem cells and their applications to for the transplantation and regenerative medicine production. The secondly, we can say that we can use these stem cells to test new drugs for safety and effectiveness. Before using investigational drugs in people, researchers can use some types of stem cells to test the drugs for safety and its quality. And this type of testing will most likely first have a direct impact on drug development, first for, say, cardiac toxicity testing. Now there are new areas of study including the effectiveness of using human stem cells that have been programmed into tissue specific cells to test new drugs. For the testing of new drugs to be accurate, the cells must be programmed to acquire properties of the types of cells targeted by the drug, and there are techniques to program cells into specific cells continue to be studied. Say, for instance, we can say that nerve cells could be generated to test a new drug for a nerve disease. So tests could show whether the new drug had any effect on the cells and whether the cells were harmed. So this is the another wing of the importance in stem cell, using the stem cells. And obviously this is the most important thing, increase the understanding of how disease occurs, because by watching stem cells mature into cells in bones, heart, muscles, nerves and other organs and tissues, researchers obviously as well as the doctors may better understand how the diseases and the conditions develop. So from knowing the development or the initiation of the development of a particular disease to the formation or to the use the stem cells in regenerative medicines to test a particular new drug, we can use these stem cell technologies. So this is basically the use of the stem cells in immunogenetics, or to cure a particular disease. And we were talking about the stem cell transplantation. That stem cell transplantations can be used as a part of treatment. We can have an example, like we can took an example of blood disorders such as leukemia. Leukemia is certain type of lymphoma. So, and some congenital metabolic or immunodeficiency disorders. So stem cell transplantations may also be given to the people who have been treated with high doses of chemotherapy or radiation therapy for certain cancers. Such treatments destroy bone marrow, which produces stem cell. Occasionally, stem cell transplants can be used to replace bone marrow cells that are destroyed during the treatment of cancers in organs such as breast cancers or neuroblastoma, which is a common childhood cancer that develops from nerve tissues. So doctors are studying how to use stem cell transplantation to treat some autoimmune disorders such as multiple sclerosis. So as you can see from this discussion, that this basically all of these wings of science, those are interconnected. Those are not basically separate segments. Okay, all of these are interconnected somewhere. If you study genetics, it will help you to know the core of a particular organism better. Now the not only the genetics, hardcore genetics not only depends on that recombination, or say hybrid recombination process, the monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross. This genetics portion is not only genetics is not only just deals with those monohybrid and dihybrid cross and crossing overs, but it actually have the essence, the basic essence of all of the science and technology. And as we are talking about some diseases, obviously we have to know the immunological effects or immunological system of our body, immunological functions of different molecules, how they react during the diseased conditions, and how they will help us to boost our immunity. So this is the basic of immunology, and obviously I have mentioned it again and again that there are genetic variations, there are different genetic makeup in different person. So depending on that genetic variation, depending on that, every individual have different degree of immunological say immunological defense strategy. They have different degree of this, and so that actually varies on depending on this genetic variation. And these are the immunological if you learn this immunology, you will get to know about different autoimmune diseases. And those autoimmune diseases, sometimes that are actually inherited from parent to the next generation offspring. So basically they are sometimes can be seen as genetic disorders also. So these genetic disorders, genetical, the pattern of inheritance, how they are inherited, the genetical changes. So these are also basically the study or the area to study in immunogenetics. And obviously the stem cell is another emerging topic, as I can say, that actually help us. We just know the property that stem cells have, and now actually we are using these properties of stem cells by creating human induced pluripotent stem cells, by using those, or by artificially forming pluripotent stem cells. We are actually using this stem cell technology actively in medical research, actively in medical studies to cure different diseases. About 30 to 40% of the people who had lymphoma, and 20 to 50% of those who had leukemia, they are cancer free after treatments, after these, including stem cell transplantation. And the procedure prolongs life in people with multiple myeloma. It is less effective for the breast cancer. So there are results that the positive feedbacks are coming after the stem cell therapy, stem cell transplantation. So we can actually having the ideas that the diseased conditions are becoming really they are getting we are getting good responses, positive responses after these stem cell therapies. So this is the basic of this immunogenetics and the stem cell class. So we will learn in our class the introduction to immunology. Next we will learn the basic idea about these immunogenetics, how the MHC molecule, the human the HLA, the MHC molecules that are actually having polymorphism and they affect the immunological systems. Next we will learn about genetic variations and different autoimmune diseases, as well as we will study the pattern of inheritance. And next we will learn the basic of stem cells and the stem cell therapy in immunogenic disorder, how they have effects on this immunogenic disorder, how they can be produced, how researchers use these stem cell or these the normal phenomena, the natural phenomena, which is stem cell is the naturally occurring cell inside our body, but actually people using the basic properties of the stem cell and forming in vitro, they are forming cells which are having stemness. They are having this kind of property and can be used to treat different diseased conditions. How these are actually happening? So this is the theory portion we will learn in our course, and there are some hands-on classes also. So where there we will learn about the different servers to know the pattern of inheritance and autoimmune diseases. There are servers that actually tell you about different genetic disorders, different autoimmune diseases, what are the genetic basis of that particular disease, what are the different manifestation of the disease, and what are different drugs there are. All over the world there are servers that are actually having the deposits of different pattern of inheritance as well as autoimmune disease. We will learn about that. We will also learn the epitopes processing prediction. There are servers which will tell us the epitopes about the for protein. I will give some protein. So the software will give you the epitopes after the processing, and obviously the MHC binding prediction, because we are talking about more about the genetic variations of MHC molecules. So obviously MHC binding prediction is one of the most important hands-on training class. Next is the epitope conservancy determination. This is also an important point of this immunological studies, the epitope conservancy, and the antigenicity determination. We will also learn about that. And last but not the least is the immune estimation. There are different servers which will help us to check the immune estimation of different cancer cells, different disease condition, and will give idea. So I will just present so this is a thing that I have done. This is just show you. This is for active site prediction. We will also do that on like in our hands-on classes, the active site prediction. I have used a protein against protein of COVID-19, and this is the different active sites from the protein which I have received from the server, and from one of these active site sequence I have just we also got different amino acid sequences of the active sites. And as you can see from this figure, this is the protein and the balls are showing the active sites for the binding of different proteins. So this is the active site of a particular protein that actually we have use this protein sequence, and we get this kind of results from the active site prediction server. So this is one of the example, that is the hands-on classes. Now how I have done this, from where I got the sequences, and how I have done this, how this figure was generated, we will learn in the course during the different sessions. So this is basically we will learn in our course of immunogenetics and stem cells. So that's all for this session. Kedar, acha. Lambodar Pradhan, didn't you see the slides? It wasn't visible to you?
Excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
I thought actually bioinformatics would be taught in the contents today. So was it actually available or not?
Actually, some of the classes I have told the hands-on classes where we will learn about different techniques or different servers that will help us to learn about different prediction softwares that will actually help us to know about the MHC binding, the active site presentation, the epitope binding site detection. These will actually learn in this bioinformatics or immunoinformatics section.
Okay.
Okay. And Kedar Joshi, for this course price and duration, you have to talk to the coordinators of this course. I guess you have the contact number and email address, so you can just mail them and they will let you know. Okay. So if you have any question, you can ask regarding this course anymore.
Is
Sorry, can't hear you.
I'm asking that is
Can you please write the question, because this is not clear. Your voices are not clear. Bibhash, in our next classes, we will actually talk about the softwares I am using for this active site prediction. There are different softwares. I have just shown you one, and in our next classes I will show different softwares and how they are used. American, the course duration, yeah, that's maybe for 30 days. Anyone other question? Subjects of biotechnology will not really hardcore biotechnology, but the things that is related to that stem cell preparation or during the genetical variation, etc., then there some biotechnological aspects we will learn. Generally, for Rahul, generally we take class in the evening from say 7:30 to 8:30, generally on Saturday, Sundays. So if it is okay with you, you can actually go for this class.
I'm really get
Mahadevan, molecular docking, I will not teach you molecular docking. There are another courses. Okay, so they will actually teach you this molecular docking section. You can check it out in the website, or you can email to the coordinator, and they will help you in getting these molecular docking classes.